This is the Art of Reiki, the essential guide for Reiki healing. Learn more about the art of Angelic Reiki and how to tap into your supernatural for self-healing of your mind, body, and spirit. Introduction. Angelic Reiki is the total joy of working hand in hand with the Angelic Kingdom of Light to bring one of the greatest forms of healing to people, human consciousness, and the earth. Get all the info you need here. Chapter 1. Angelic Reiki Basics. Synopsis. Working hand in hand with the angelic realms, ascended master collective and galactic beings, Angelic Reiki provides a sound system of healing and consciousness expansion. It's a mighty means of personal growth, transformation, and readying for ascending. It's the healing for our time. Angelic Reiki is a mighty healing modality that works with the highest powers of the angelic realm to manifest healing and balance on all layers to those getting the healing power. With Angelic far away. The basics. Angelic Reiki uses disciplines from the Usui and Shambhala lineages and blends these with mighty transmissions channeled by masters. This is a total system of energy healing, which is open to all. The attunements ready and initiate people to begin working hand in hand with angelic beings of light and found a conscious and lasting link with the angelic dimension. During an Angelic Reiki treatment, the practitioner is merely a bridge for the angelic healing power to pass to the receiver. Angels are not confined by time and space. Working in alignment and together with angels and archangels consequently helps us to reach deeply into all areas, which call for rebalancing and healing. In multidimensional Angelic Reiki healing, the receiver is lovingly supported to relinquish physical, emotional, and karmic imbalances as well as ancestral problems throughout all time and space. It's a blessing to give and get these angelic healing sessions. The utilization of Angel Reiki has the same precepts as Usui Reiki. Archangel Raphael is the angel of healing, although there are a lot more angels and archangels that will help you to heal yourself or a set of circumstances. Angels have limitless healing powers and may heal emotional and physical pain. Simply ask for their help for your own personal healing. The treatment of Angel Reiki is the same as Usui Reiki, hands-off, on, and remote healing. An individual might wish to remain sitting upright or laid on a couch. As with all Reiki, you remain totally clothed throughout the treatment session. The atmosphere is produced utilizing relaxing music, which may greatly benefit the treatment, likewise helping the person to relax quicker. The Angel Reiki power is channeled from the angelic realm with the help of ascended masters, archangels, and angels, which is then passed through the hands of the healer to the individual wanting to receive healing. Angels may help us to reach the realms that need to be readdressed, that call for balancing and healing, likewise allowing you to be lovingly supported to relinquish physical, emotional, and karmic imbalances. The utilization of crystals may also be used to help remove and heal blocks. Angel Reiki is soft and loving. All Reiki is the procedure of working with a person's energy system. The aim is to get rid of unwanted damaging energy and replace it with harmonious, favorable, healthy energy. Chapter 2. The History of Reiki. Synopsis. In Chinese, the word Rei literally means a mysterious atmosphere or spiritual power, and Qi means life force, mood, power, or spirit. Together, they're loosely translated as universal life force energy. This describes Reiki, the therapeutic art made popular by a Japanese Buddhist devotee named Dr. Mikao Usui in the 1920s. There, he meditated to acquire knowledge and had a vision that he considered a healing art. The history. Dr. Usui likewise took on 5 ethical rules that became called the Reiki Healing Principles, or Goka. According to Dr. Usui, by applying these rules, which he taught, one might embark on the path toward self-healing. the secret technique of inviting great fortune into your life, the technique of using Reiki healing as a fantastic medicine for all illnesses, the exercise of sitting in the Gassho position, hands held, palm to palm, and speaking the Reiki healing technique words aloud in your heart each morning and night, the technique of centering and challenging your energy of the present day on the accompanying thoughts. Don't be angry. Don't worry. Be thankful. Work with integrity. Be kind to other people. Reiki isn't a religion, but a healing doctrine. Although a few consider it able to help the body heal itself, several consider it to be a feel-good therapy that advances relaxation. Reiki healing treatments involve the placement of the hand on or over the body in certain places to adjust the chi or life energy in the body. 12 to 20 hand positions are utilized, either touching or just above the body for 3 to 5 minutes each, and the total treatment takes from 45 to 90 minutes. Those who are treated report they feel warmth or tingling in the areas of treatment, with treatments being duplicated every 1 to 4 weeks. The thought is that when the body's energy is correctly flowing and aligned, as in acupuncture and a few types of massage, the body may heal itself from a lot of ailments, as well as from the tension and anxiety that causes imbalances in wellness and health. The higher levels of training center on treatments from a distance, with a trust that Reiki masters may send off energy to those who are getting treated. The story of Reiki is blossoming even as we take a breath. Fresh sources, adding to what we're currently being told is the true history, are commonly being rediscovered by investigators, though this isn't to say that we ought to necessarily trust that absolutely everything we're told are indeed truths. History in a wide sense is at best a subjective field of study, and however unintentionally, constantly contains a little degree of bias. The most dependable history is commonly arrived at by analyzing assorted sources, with an accent on those sources who, to coin the phrase, don't have an axe to grind, or have no true vested interest in the final result of the studies. Chapter 3. The History of Angels. Synopsis. The word angels is derived from the Greek word angelos, which means messenger. The origin of angels in history is rather complicated to figure out, due to angels or like spirit beings being found inside many cultures around the earth. Angel history. Angels are found inside 3 key religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Yet, angels or divine people who help others were likewise found inside Sumerian, Babylonian, Persian, Egyptian, and Greek writings too. While perhaps called different names, benevolent spirit beings rather similar to angels may likewise be found inside additional religions, mythologies, and lore. Today, a lot of individuals believe in demons and that they're fallen angels. This teaching originated in the Hebrew text of Isaiah about Lucifer getting cast out of heaven, with a third of the angels following him to the earth. A common description occasionally given of angels is that they're beings of light, which are occasionally described as frightening to behold due to their tall height, purity, and sheer might. A few will likewise describe angels as having wings, and perhaps even halos. Yet the Western notion of wings and halos developed through ancient religions and mythology. Images of angels looking like humans, but with wings, were an ancient idea that exemplified benevolent spirit beings as arriving from a higher place or the heavens. Wings were a simple way to express the idea of angels moving back and forth, or even up and down from the spirit world to earth and then back once more. A lot of ancient gods were frequently depicted as birds or as bearing wings. Think Egyptian, for instance. By the 4th century A.D., angels were broadly seen as having wings inside Western cultures, while wings were nearly non-existent inside the Eastern faiths. A lot of ancient civilizations had placed wings on their deities, creatures, and champions, so it was natural for Christian artists to look to pagan civilizations for inspiration. Christian artisans were prompted to add wings to angels by viewing Greek art. Muslim artists looked to Persian versions as their inspiration for wings upon angels. During the same time, Christian painters likewise adopted the idea of the halo from the Greeks and Romans, who had utilized them previously. But a lot of times in the Bible, angels seem to be men and are described as such from Genesis, e.g. when Jacob wrestles an angel, to Revelation, e.g. the letters to each of the churches are addressed to the pastors or angels of every church. Even the name supplied to the archangel Gabriel means man of God. Moreover, Jesus was attributed as teaching in Matthew that in the resurrection, those raised would be as or like the angels of God in heaven. This statement is additionally clarified by the similar text written in Luke 20, which says, "For they, the raised, are angelic." Today, a lot of individuals look to angels for help or even intervention during crisis. A general modern-day description of angels is discovered in a lot of stories of helpful but mysterious strangers. These stories frequently tell of an individual who seems to come to an individual during a time of need, supplying a word or help of some sort, then mysteriously vanishing fast. During these experiences, the messenger or helper is indiscernible as an angel, however, seems as a loving, caring human. Similarly, spirits who come to soothe and lead dying individuals through the transition from this earth unto the light, heaven, promised land, and so forth, are frequently described as angels, however, are occasionally discovered to be deceased loved ones or friends of the one about to pass on. Therefore, angels appear to have a really close association with human beings, perhaps even closer than we may think, when one analyzes biblical descriptions along with accounts of personal experiences. Summarizing angels described inside religion and inside personal experiences in general, we know they're benevolent spirit beings that bring messages, assisting mankind. Angels appear in human form. The angels have been described specifically as the spirits of human beings inside the spirit realm. Maybe the term angels is a word to universally describe bodiless, yet enlightened spirits of individuals who help other humans on both sides of the grave. Chapter 4. The difference between Reiki and Angelic Reiki. Synopsis. There are a lot of deviations between the Reiki systems that are taught in the world and Angelic Reiki. It's now typically accepted that the system of healing called Reiki is the original system of healing that was used in Atlantis. It's widely accepted that the civilization of Atlantis was elevated in consciousness in regards to contacting divine wisdom than our society nowadays. They utilized vibrational symbols to reach divine powers, which when used in a closed system, like the body, would cause balance and alignment. This is the way healing arrives. The differences. The healing system of the Atlanteans was rediscovered by Dr. Usui in the 1880s, due to humans now being on the opposite side of the 26,000-year cycle of our solar system, where Atlantis was demolished. The system of healing that Dr. Usui rediscovered has been stringently preserved through the lineage of the purity of transmission of the symbols that Dr. Usui used. The spiritual precept of humanity in the 1880s embraced the fact that we were part of a system called the solar system. What this means is that intellectual, spiritual human race at that time could only comprehend themselves amplified in consciousness at a quickened rate. After World War II, a leap in consciousness let humans expand consciousness to adopt the fact that we're one solar system in a galaxy of a lot of solar systems. This might be termed galactic consciousness. All of the Reiki schemes which have developed since this time have built on the traditional Reiki symbols, and given those symbols equate with the heart chakra. Since the harmonic convergence of 1987, a different leap in consciousness resulted, which has let the Reiki symbols be given at higher vibrations than heart chakra. Once Angelic Reiki was first conducted in 2003, the attunements to the symbols were happening at the throat chakra vibration. Recently, for the first time since Atlantean times, the healing symbols of Atlantis have the chance of being used at the full 7 levels of form and divine form. In time immemorial, with all of the mystery school traditions, activations in consciousness have been presented by the master to the pupil through initiation. Before initiations were presented, the pupil had to prove, frequently through physical trial, their worthiness to get the initiation. This practice has been fairly diluted by the New Age movement. An initiation is an energetic attunement of the master's consciousness impressed upon the consciousness of the pupil. It's a merging, an overlighting of one's consciousness by another, in order to elevate the vibration and awareness of that consciousness into the beaming light of the master. A few of the attunements given nowadays through the Reiki system are not of the highest. The pupil receiving such initiation may open themselves to be imprinted by a consciousness that is still going through egoic issues, emotional drama, and personality bonds. The Angelic Reiki system has always stood for a system of healing that, through the utilization of symbols, which channel divine archetypal energies, will attune the 7 bodies of man to their original divine vibration. So that these symbols are channeled to pupils in their purity. They're not given as an initiation by the teacher. That teacher opens up a space, a vortex of power, whereby the Angelic Kingdom evidences their energy around each pupil and anchors the symbols into the suitable chakras. The symbols are thereby given at divine vibration, and as such, impact the consciousness of each pupil from the minute they're given. In this system of rules, there are the traditional initiations, 1 through 4. As well, there are 2 other initiations which are strictly angelic. The Angelic Kingdom was produced as part of an earlier evolution of this universe. There is, consequently, a vast difference between the vibration of an angel and the vibration of an incarnated human. This being accepted, the Archangel Metatron took a firm stand that an initiation into the angelic vibration be an inbuilt part of this system. It's my understanding that through these initiations, the atomic spin of each molecule in the human body of the pupil getting this attunement is sped up. This helps the energy of the pupil to more perfectly meld with the energy of the angels, which are then constant companions following this initiation. Chapter 5. How does Angelic Reiki energy work? Synopsis. Angelic Reiki is a safe, natural, high-frequency, multidimensional scheme of healing and consciousness enlargement. It's among the most potent systems of healing available at this time, yet easy to learn and simple to use. How does it work? Angelic Reiki works at a soul level, addressing the cause of any condition, advancing really deep healing and transformation. During a treatment, both practitioner and receiver are connected to pure divine power through the Angelic Kingdom of Light. This lets very high vibrational energies of angels, archangels, ascended masters, and galactic healers work to help free physical, ancestral, emotional, and karmic instabilities across all time. Applying and teaching Angelic Reiki, consequently, calls for working hand in hand with the angels in an unparalleled, joyful way. There are no familiar contraindications or areas of caution. Angelic Reiki is, consequently, suitable for anybody, of any age, and any condition may benefit from treatments. Men, women, youngsters, babies, pregnant ladies, and animals may safely get Angelic Reiki alongside conventional health care and any additional complemental therapy. As the case studies illustrate, advantages are many and wide-ranging. Angelic Reiki helps deep core issues, liberating and empowering in an unequaled way. There's no recommended number of treatments for any condition, as the treatments are client, not practitioner-led, and clients often report favorable change after merely one treatment. But with the exception of chronic disorders and pregnant women who decide to have treatments throughout their pregnancy. However, a treatment plan rarely involves more than 3 sessions. During Angelic Reiki treatments, the procedure of attuning to and working with beings of light on the higher dimensions may supply the practitioner and the guest with insights into causes of conditions. Treatments are carried on in a calm, safe, and supportive environment and commonly last about 60 minutes. Healing frequently begins well before the practitioner and guest are face-to-face in the therapy room. A medical and lifestyle history is taken during the inaugural consultation. Ample time is permitted at the beginning of every treatment for the client to talk about, if they wish, whatever is bothering them. They then sit or lie down, fully clothed, and are able to relax. The practitioner produces a healing vortex and lays their hands softly on the client's body. Healing energy that's perfect in its conception and transmission is accessed by the practitioner with the Angelic Kingdom of Light and channeled to the guest from a neutral space. If healing with Angelic Reiki is incited, both the guest and practitioner receive a downpouring of soul energy, and divine angelic archetypes are anchored, causing a transformational pitch in consciousness. Angels, archangels, ascended masters, and or galactic healers then extend to the past to heal all memories of agony. For the receiver, any old thought forms not in tune with the divine vibration get shifted and transmuted to a higher vibration. Non-harmonious physical, emotional, and mental situations are relieved, advancing really deep healing and transformation, which may manifest seemingly heaven-sent physical effects. Each treatment is unique. What the guest and the practitioner might see, feel, sense varies substantially and might be profound beyond words to name fully. At the close of the treatment, each discusses what has been felt, and the practitioner passes on particular angelic guidance. Following the treatment, healing goes on to be absorbed at the suitable physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual levels, and full integrating of the angelic healing energies may take 3 weeks or more. Absent or distant angelic Reiki treatments are every bit as powerful in terms of healing strength, and the process is virtually the same, except that the client isn't physically there. Chapter 6. Hands-on Healing in Religion. Synopsis. The laying on of hands is a religious ceremony that goes with particular religious practices, which are encountered throughout the world in variable forms. Laying on of hands. In Christian churches, this practice is utilized as both a symbolic and formal technique of invoking the Holy Spirit, mainly during baptisms and confirmations, healing services, blessings, and ordinations of priests, pastors, elders, deacons, and additional church officers, along with an assortment of additional church sacraments and holy observances. The laying on of hands was a behavior referred to on a lot of the occasions in the Tanakh to accompany the conferring of a blessing or authority. For instance, Isaac blessed his son Jacob by laying on of hands found in Genesis 27:27. Moses appointed Joshua with Semachah, i.e., by the laying on of hands, Numbers 27:15 through 23, and Deuteronomy 34:9. The Bible adds that Joshua was thereby filled with the spirit of wisdom. Moses likewise appointed the 70 elders, Numbers 11:16 through 25. The elders later appointed their successors in that way. Their successors successfully appointed other people. This chain of hands-on Semachah carried on through the time of the Second Temple to an unresolved time. The precise date that the original Semachah succession ended isn't clear. A lot of medieval authorities trusted that this happened during the reign of Hillel II around the year 360 CE. Even so, it appears to have carried on at least until 425, when Theodosius II executed Gamaliel VI and stifled the Patriarchate and Sanhedrin. Aaron and the high priest, who came after him, symbolically transferred the sins of the children of Israel to a sacrificial goat by the laying on of hands, Leviticus 16:21. In the New Testament, the laying on of hands was affiliated with the welcoming of the Holy Spirit, as in Acts 8:14 through 19. At first, the apostles laid hands on new believers as well as believers. In the early church, The use continued and is still utilized in a wide assortment of church ceremonies, like during confirmation. The laying on of hands, called the royal touch or the divine touch, was executed by kings in England and France and was believed to heal scrofula, also known as king's evil at the time, a name devoted to a number of skin disorders. The rite of the king's touch started in France and with Robert II the Pious, but legend later ascribed the practice to Clovis as Merovingian father of the Holy Roman Kingdom, and Edward the Confessor in England. The belief carried on to be common throughout the Middle Ages, however started to die off with the Enlightenment. Queen Anne was the last British monarch to claim to have this divine power, though the Jacobite pretenders likewise claimed to do so. The French monarchy carried on to believe and perform the act up until the French Revolution. The act was typically performed at big ceremonies, frequently at Easter or additional holy days. Chapter 7. Can anyone learn Angelic Reiki? Synopsis. I have seen a lot of systems of healing and consciousness enlargement over the past many years, and can vouch that finding out about Angelic Reiki bestows added dimensionality and enlightening clarity, catalyzing fulfillment of one's resolve, and inciting rapid personal transformation. What's involved? There are no requirements for learning Angelic Reiki. All that's needed is a want to work with angels for the greatest good, and a heart and mind open to accomplish that. Those who accomplish learning this system are affected by its purity and ease. There's no sequence of hand positions to take on, and the treatments are simple to learn and a joy to execute. As such, Angelic Reiki is drawing in individuals from all walks of life. Those already involved in formal and holistic healthcare of persons and animals, as well as other people who simply know that Angelic Reiki is something they have to adopt now. There are 4 levels of Angelic Reiki, with the added choice of Master-Teacher update, and all pupils start at level 1 and 2 whether or not they've already learned a different form of Reiki. Training is led in a multidimensional space produced by angels, and each minute of involvement attunes people, at each level, to the unique vibration that is Angelic Reiki. The mighty attunements are received directly from the angelic hierarchy. Teaching includes how to merge with and direct really high vibrational angelic powers in carrying on different healing treatments where physical, ancestral, emotional, and karmic instabilities may be released throughout all time and space. Chapter 8. Reiki Symbols. Synopsis. Reiki symbols are hallowed healing symbols which heighten the flow of life force energy. They're like keys that open up doors to elevated levels of awareness and manifestation. The symbols. Reiki symbols are Sanskrit-derived Japanese form. Sanskrit is thought by many to be the first language of most European languages. It's the language of the Vedas, among the oldest writings known to humanity. The Vedas state that Sanskrit is the words of the spirit world. Reiki symbols are demonstrated to the pupil before being attuned, and an imprinting occurs that links the picture they're shown to the metaphysical powers the symbol represents. Then the Reiki attunement really empowers the symbols so that they execute their intended purpose. This procedure has been produced by a divine covenant or hallowed agreement between the Creator and those who have become attuned. The symbols bear their own consciousness, and it's possible to meditate on them and get guidance on how to utilize them right from the symbols themselves. Today, there are a lot of forms of Reiki, and a few have integrated their own symbols in their initiations. In traditional Reiki, there are 3 Reiki symbols presented during the Reiki. 2. Attunement initiation. They're the power symbol, Shoku Rei, the mental emotional symbol, Seihei Ki, and the distance symbol, Honseizi Shozen. The Reiki symbols are partially based on the Japanese writing scheme kanji. The symbols ought to be drawn up or visualized as they've been taught during the Reiki 2 attunement. As more and more individuals become attuned to Reiki, this will mean that there may be an amazing number of versions between the symbols taught by different masters. This isn't truly an issue, as there is not a 100% correct or incorrect way to draw them. The Reiki symbols presented to a pupil will work, however. They look as they integrate the intention and the connection to the metaphysical powers it exemplifies. Chapter 9. Receiving Angelic Reiki. Synopsis. We have taken a look at how to perform Angelic Reiki, but how do we receive it? Learning to be open. Giving and getting are yin and yang, the counterpart of the infinity symbol, looping backward and forward, neither side bigger than the other, both built into the larger whole. Many of us need to learn how to get into a place of comfortable receiving, slowly, one baby step at a time. I get a compliment with a simple thank you, regardless that inside you are discounting the words. This is an acquired skill. You can learn this. You can let the words, and more importantly your healing, sink in and fill your empty spaces. You can accept a gift with a thank you, and let that be adequate. You have to learn to open up to be able to receive. You can let other people help you with grace and the profound gratitude that somebody or something wishes to be of service. You can open and can let other people have the fun of giving. And ultimately, this is how you can give more easily, by learning to refill your needs with receiving. You also need to learn about giving, that giving to quench your own need will never be adequate. When you give, not from a complete heart, but from a void space that requires recognition, you will be exhausted. Giving from your own need leads to bitterness, victimhood, and distress. Here are some reminders to help you learn this new skill. To begin with, you have to accept the basic premise that you are enough, that before you give a thing, before you receive anything, you are enough simply being here. The act of giving or getting doesn't change this in the least. You have to become more discerning with giving. You have to learn to examine your needs, as well as the needs of other people, to see when your gift is really given from love and when it comes with expectations, to see if the expectations are self-imposed and if they come from other people. You have to make room in your life for receiving. This includes being aware of all the ways you may receive, whether it's accepting kind words, a stranger's grin, or connecting with the angels. Know that as you receive, you are getting to be more comfortable with the art of receiving. Stay conscious of how your receiving empowers those who are giving to you. Relax into the feeling of receiving. Get to be okay with the feeling of openness that's necessary to really receive. Allow this openness to be able to receive. Chapter 10. What the Critics and Proponents Have to Say. Synopsis. Let's have a look at what the proponents and critics have to say. What people say. The American Cancer Society has remarked that the research around Reiki has been ill-conducted and said, available scientific evidence at this time doesn't support claims that Reiki may help treat cancer or any additional illness. More study might help determine to what degree, if at all, it may improve a patient's sense of welfare. As well, the National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine has repeated this position, remarking that the existence of power fields and biofield therapies, like Reiki, hasn't yet been scientifically demonstrated. Worries about safety in Reiki are like to those of other unproved alternative medicines. A few doctors and allied healthcare workers think that patients will avoid clinically demonstrated treatments for grave conditions in favor of unproved alternative medicines. Reiki practitioners might encourage their customers to consult a doctor for grave conditions, saying that Reiki may be utilized to complement conventional medicine. Clinical trials haven't reported any substantial adverse effects from the utilization of Reiki. However, here's what proponents say. Female, abdomen pain, food allergies, connective tissue trouble, gallstones, hypoactive thyroid, no staying power, severe nervousness, client depressed, and negative about all facets of her life. 3 treatments over 4 months' time. Treatments brought out long-standing emotional abuse in this life and trauma from previous lives where she had become oppressed. Deep healing on all levels obtained during each of the treatments, with clear-cut guidance for her as to optimal integration during the accompanying 3 weeks. Immediate betterment with digestion was noted after the first treatment. Booked additional treatments because of roadblocks and challenges like death of a close acquaintance arose. Patient comments. I had attempted a lot of other therapies, which just made me much worse. I was confident that Angelic Reiki would as well. What a blessed thing. I now comprehend better the emotional hurt I've been carrying and how I've pulled in such unhappiness. I've gotten so much curative help, and at last I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The details of current and previous life trauma were astonishing and fit in exactly with much that you couldn't have known about Pine Tree State and my loved ones. Ever so slowly, I am getting to be more empowered. Wrapping up, we're each of us on a spiritual journey of self-growth, while not everybody is cognizant of it. And at this time in the history of humanity and of the planet, problems that have their roots deep in the previous times are coming out to be cleared. We carry the stamp of these at a cellular level, and frequently they're worked out through a lot of incarnations. As such, they may be really hard to shift utilizing conventional techniques. All the same, the power of angels to transcend space and time as we understand it is instrumental in discharging and healing these troubles. Angelic Reiki is, therefore, transformational and contributing directly to the ascending procedure. This has been the Art of Reiki, the essential guide for Reiki healing. Learn more about the art of Angelic Reiki and how to tap into your supernatural for self-healing of your mind, body, and spirit.